That's obviously the question everybody in Cleveland is looking to find the answer to. I think coming out of the offseason, it seems like Deshaun Watson is probably going to be the guy going into training camp as the starter. He looks pretty healthy coming off that Achilles tear that he had. And I think the experience that he has playing football, the arm looks like it's still there. The legs look like they've come back. And that's one thing Shedeur doesn't exactly bring you right now is the ability to scramble. He's not exceptional at using his legs to get a first down, although he is very good at scrambling to make plays to be able to throw the football. I think Deshaun right now just gives that offense a little bit more versatility to be able to open things up and be more dynamic. And I think he'll probably be the guy. If I had to bet who's going to start more games this season for the Browns, it would be Deshaun.
It's funny. I went the other way, and I don't know that we know, and I don't know that Todd Monken knows. I don't know that there is a right answer here. I think eventually you got to get to a point where, and listen, they may win games with Deshaun. The defense, I think, is still going to be good. I know it's still going to be good. The question is how good. Like, can they actually carry a team good? And the last 2 years, as good as they were, the offense was only scoring 16 points a game, so no defense is that good. Eventually you have to turn to the younger guy because the core now is so young. But if Deshaun plays well, to your point, let's say he wins the job and he plays well, you're not going to bench him just for the sake of youth. So it's, can he win the job and how well can he actually play? And being out there last week for minicamp, look, they both at times look really good. For both of them, it just comes down to consistency. And you know this, like they're in pajamas. It's a glorified passing camp. It's minicamp. They're in shorts. Like there are no pads. Like you can get a feel, I think, for quarterback play, but you can't get a feel for the line. You can't get a feel for what that defense is truly doing against you until you get to camp. And I think people were upset because Todd Monken had kind of said that I want to have my guy in place at the end of minicamp. But there's no game on June 11th. Like, don't you think healthy competition is a good thing for training camp, even if it's at quarterback?
Yeah, definitely competition is always a good thing. I think Todd's words were more to the line of, we want to have a clear starter going in so we know how reps are going to be split up to begin training camp so that all the guys that are going to be working around him, they know who the person is that is going to be under center that they're going to work with. They know the guy that's going to be calling the plays. The receivers have a chance to get ready and prepared for working with Deshaun. Because I think it is good knowing at that position, at least, what the depth chart looks like. And that's not to say it doesn't change in week 2, week 3, week 4, or as they play preseason games.
On out in Cleveland, Jeremy, what should we know about the Browns quarterback competition between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson?
Laura, this is a true heated battle, and this one's only going to heat up in training camp. As was told to me, Deshaun Watson went into the spring as the clear favorite, and that Shedeur Sanders has bridged the gap at least somewhat. I still believe Deshaun Watson's in a good position. I'm told he was moving like a major athlete again, coming off those Achilles tears. He's moving well, he's fluid, looks like the athlete of old to most extent, but Shedeur was decisive. I was told that he's got a presence about him that the new coaching staff noticed that they might have underestimated a little bit. So I expect this to go into preseason games. You're going to see multiple weeks of this in Berea, those two going at it.
Yeah, I mean, remember Shedeur was around a lot, even getting to know the new head coach. There's interesting things with the commitment that he's made to being there. Who are you starting at quarterback? Do you trust that Deshaun Watson has the durability? Is this Shedeur's job?
It feels like Deshaun Watson, but it's hard to believe. Back when he was with the Houston Texans 2020, that Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. But what we've seen since then, since he's gotten to Cleveland, hasn't been anything close to that. So you got to believe that Shedeur is at least going to make a run at this thing to potentially be their starting quarterback, especially when you look at where the organization is. Having a young guy to put out there to see what he can do would be big. But for Todd Monken in year 1, with the amount of draft picks that Cleveland has next year, potentially to go get a franchise quarterback, Monken has to prove that with either one of these guys, he can go out there and win football games. I think Watson to begin the season is going to be the guy that gives him the best chance to go out there and win.
All right, we have a very NFC North heavy beginning of this segment here because we're going to go to a Lions player, and that's left tackle Taylor Decker. He asked for a release after being asked to take a pay cut. And Mike, you think he could land in the same division?
Yeah, I think the Chicago Bears make a ton of sense here. Obviously, the fit with his former offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. But not only that, it's the fact that left tackle has been kind of just dart throws for the Bears this offseason. You got Theo Benedette, obviously, who started some games last year but then was benched. You have Ozzie Trapillo, who's coming off a big knee injury, may not be ready for the season. You have Braxton Jones, who saw the open market. No one really wanted him. He comes back there. And you have Jedrick Wills, who took a year off of football last year. So you have a lot of guys, but no answers. This is an answer at what's the most valuable position along the offensive line and will really be a keystone to what is a great otherwise offensive line. I think for the Bears' sake, like JP just mentioned, this is an all-in kind of year. This is the Holy Grail year, the year 3 of the rookie year quarterback. When you got that franchise guy, push your chips to the edge of the table, make a play for Taylor Decker.
I'm going to another team that's also all in, but I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. Currently, Nate Thomas and Tyler Guyton are in a competition for the starting left tackle spot, which doesn't feel like a great sign for Tyler Guyton, who was the Cowboys' first-round draft pick a couple years ago. But I think because this offense is so ready to win a Super Bowl right now, the defense is finally starting to put together the pieces to go from worst in the league to just league average. I think missing a beat at left tackle would be a really, really big detriment to this offense, especially given the fact that Dak Prescott's not getting any older. George Pickens is playing on the franchise tag. You might not have this core for as long as you think you do. So I think adding a guy like Taylor Decker, who just gives them a floor at left tackle, if they are not sold on Tyler Guyton as their future, just get somebody who can help you win right now. And I think Decker can still help them win in the short term.
All right, so that was the non-wide receiver portion of this rankings. The rest of these guys are all at the wide receiver position, starting with your number 3 player.
Listen, Cleveland has talked about quarterbacks for years. Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders. Who starts? Who gets the reps? Who gives this offense life? But what if the move that actually changes the Browns is not another quarterback debate, but the guy protecting the quarterback's blind side? Because if Taylor Decker becomes a real option for Cleveland, Dawg Pound, that is not just an offensive line rumor. That is a statement. And let's be clear. This is not official. This is not confirmed. This is a possible Browns move, a market fit, a conversation. But it is exactly the kind of conversation Cleveland should be having if this team is serious about giving Shedeur Sanders a real chance to grow. Everybody wants to know the same thing: Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. Watson may enter training camp with the experience, the contract, the arm, and maybe the first shot. But Shedeur brings the future conversation. He brings energy, curiosity, and the belief that Cleveland can finally stop living inside the same quarterback nightmare. But here's the truth. It does not matter who plays quarterback if the offensive line is not right. If the pocket collapses, if the quarterback rushes every read, if every third down feels like survival, this offense is going nowhere. That is why Taylor Decker matters. Decker is not a flashy wide receiver. He is not a highlight machine, but real football people understand it. Left tackle is one of the most valuable positions in football. That is the wall. That is the insurance policy. That is the difference between a quarterback developing with patience and a quarterback seeing ghosts by week 4. And for Shedeur Sanders, that could be everything. Shedeur does not need Cleveland to throw him into the fire and say, "Go save us." He needs structure, reps, timing, protection. He needs Todd Monken to evaluate him without every snap turning into chaos. Minicamp is not real football yet. No pads, no full contact, no real pocket violence. Watson and Shedeur can both have good moments in shorts, but training camp is where the truth starts showing up. That is where the line matters. That is where you find out who can actually run the offense when bodies are flying. And that is why a veteran left tackle like Taylor Decker could change the whole conversation. He gives you experience, he gives you a grown man presence on the edge. He understands angles, power, timing, and what it takes to survive on the blind side. Cleveland needs that kind of adult in the room, because this quarterback competition cannot become a circus. Receivers need timing, running backs need cadence, tackles need rhythm, the whole offense needs clarity. And if Shedeur gets first-team reps, they need to be real development reps, not panic reps. Now, let's be honest. Decker is not a magic fix. Age matters, health matters, cost matters. The contract has to be right. and Cleveland still needs weapons and explosive ability around whoever wins the job. But if the price makes sense, I'm listening. Because this is how you help Shedeur without making it all about Shedeur. You do not protect the young quarterback with speeches. You protect him with tackles. You protect him with pocket stability. You protect him by making sure he can hit the back foot, read the field, and deliver the football before everything breaks down. And if Watson wins the job, it helps him too. If Cleveland wants to squeeze value out of Watson, he needs protection. If Cleveland wants Shedeur to be the future, he needs protection. If this offense wants to stop making the defense carry everything, it needs protection. So my take is simple. Taylor Decker is not going to turn Cleveland into a Super Bowl offense by himself. But if he's available, if the money works, and if the Browns are serious about making this quarterback competition fair, they should absolutely consider it. Because Shedeur Sanders cannot become the future from underneath a pass rush. Deshaun Watson cannot revive anything if the pocket is collapsing. And Cleveland cannot keep asking quarterbacks to prove themselves without building the wall in front of them. Dawg Pound, what do you think? Should the Browns make a move for Taylor Decker and give this quarterback room real protection? Or should Cleveland spend that money somewhere else? Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more Browns news, Browns rumors, and real football reactions every single day.